The wonderful story began immediately. After I accompanied Viola from having nothing to becoming rich, Viola's ex-boyfriend told me that he would take Viola back from you step by step. Didn't he hide secretly during the evolution of human beings? She could even say such a beastly thing. As a result, I thought that only she was missed during the evolution of human beings, but I didn't expect there would be another one. 7 days before the wedding, when I was trying on wedding clothes, I saw Viola's post on Twitter. Viola and her ex-boyfriend held hands and wrote, "Still in love." 3 minutes later, I saw Viola's response, "I want to continue to be with you." The official announcement of the reunion was quite romantic. If I were not Viola's husband. The lady at the wedding dress shop saw me staring at my phone and didn't speak for a long time. She asked, "Sir, are you dissatisfied with anything?" I looked up at myself in the mirror in a slim dress. The wedding dress was made according to the style I liked. I was really satisfied with it, so I took a photo and wanted to send it to Viola. Who would have thought that in the end, such a ridiculous thing would happen? I reluctantly smiled back at her and said, "I have something to do." I got up and called Viola in the corridor, but she hung up. Then she sent a message saying that she was in a meeting. Yes, she went on a business trip the day before yesterday, saying that it was a very important project and she had to be there in person. Now it seems to be really important, a project worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Viola called me back an hour later. On the other end of the phone, she said in a gentle tone, "Quillen, what's the matter?" From the voice, I knew that she didn't know about her ex-boyfriend yet. I already knew about it. I have known Viola for 7 years, from when I was 21 to 28 years old. I accompanied her from having nothing to now being the boss of 2 companies. She is not a wealthy family, but she is also a well-known figure in the local area. I first met Viola because I graduated and was looking for a job. She was 3 years older than me. At that time, she had been working for 3 years and started out on her own. The company was established not long ago and was short of people, especially people like me who were just starting out and were good at making promises. Her face made me drink until I vomited, rush to complete the project, and work day and night. Even when a company offered me a higher price later, I never thought of leaving. I worked my way up from an intern to the company's CEO, and my love with her was due to a one-night stand. 2 years ago, we both drank too much at a drinking party. When she woke up, she said, "Quillen, let's be together." I don't remember what my mood was at that time. I should be happy, after all. I had been secretly in love with her for 3 years. It was easy to fall in love with her. She had a face that made people fall in love at first sight. We also saw the dawn of S-City together to rush the project, drank with customers, walked through the land wrapped in the vast starry sky together, and suffered cold ice, ridicule, belittlement, and obstruction together. Once, in order to win a project, we accompanied the client to drink. When we were going back in the early morning, we passed by the city square of S-City. She stopped the car, pulled me to lie in the middle of the square, and said to me with a smell of alcohol, "Quillen, one day I will move the company building here." It was a complete aristocratic area. I laughed at her and said that she was very sleepy after taking a shower and sleeping, and she had all kinds of dreams. But she suddenly turned her head and looked at me seriously and said, "By the way, I will buy you a large flat here to reward you for sticking with me." When she looked at me, the whole starry sky was reflected in her eyes. The smile on the corner of her mouth was invisible, and her tone was so serious. I think I completely fell in love with her from that moment. The night we were together was also a celebration party for the establishment of the branch. At that time, she had moved the company building to the city square and also rewarded me with a large flat in the city square. The company has grown from only 5 people to hundreds of people. At the celebration party, she held my hand in front of everyone and said that without Quillen, the company would not be as big as it is now, and I would not be who I am today. Let's toast to Quillen. Her words are exaggerated, but they are also true. I accompanied her through the moments when she couldn't hold on. I was the one who set up the branch company. I was in charge of financing, finding partners, and choosing a site. After the celebration party, she was too excited and insisted on going home with me to talk to me about the company's development in the next 20 years. As a result, we talked to bed. When she woke up, she said that I was nervous and hesitant when we were together. She saw my hesitation and said, "Quinn, I have liked you for a long time and I can't find a boy like you who can accompany me for so long." After 2 years together, I know that she has an ex-boyfriend named Orion, who is the same age as me. He and Viola were in a campus romance. He was Viola's junior. They dated for 3 years. After graduating from college, he left Suzhou. Viola didn't want to go with him, so they broke up peacefully. Speaking of which, the money Viola used to start the company was actually the money she planned to use to buy a wedding house with Orion. This is what Viola said when we first drank too much together and lay under the stars. She said that if I had married Orion at that time, I would be living a 9-to-5 office life now. There was regret in her tone, but it was also frank, so I never cared about his existence, even though Orion suddenly came back more than a year ago. S-City also secretly followed my Twitter, and I just followed him casually. I didn't mention this to Viola. I thought Viola and I were going in both directions, and who among adults would remember such a long-lasting love? Now it seems that I have been slapped in the face. I believe that seeing is believing. I didn't confront Viola on the phone. I sent her the wedding dress photos after hanging up. Viola said my Quillen was so handsome. I accepted her compliment and bought the nearest flight of the day. Viola was on a business trip. When I got off the plane and checked Twitter again, I saw Orion's update. I planned to check in at the popular store. Coincidentally, I knew that store was where Viola and I had just been. I took a taxi to the couple restaurant. Everyone just witnessed Viola giving the red roses prepared by the restaurant to Orion. The two sat in the window seat. When I got off the car, I could see Viola in water blue long dress and Orion in water blue casual outfit. I could tell they were couple outfits without even getting off the bus. Viola used to say that what she hated most was couple photos. Childish, but now it seems not. She thinks it's childish because I'm not the one she wants to be childish with. I got out of the car and leaned against a crooked tree on the side of the road to call Viola. Otherwise, I would not be able to stand steadily. Viola glanced at her phone and finally hung up. At this moment, when I was in a meeting, it was hard for me to describe my feelings. I was angry, sad, and even a little desperate. I tried to look up at the sky. It took me a long time to calm down. I looked down at the wedding ring Viola gave me not long ago, took it off and threw it into the trash can next to me. Then I took a photo of her and Orion having dinner and sent it to her, asking her to come out after dinner to talk about the divorce. About 3 minutes later, Viola looked at her phone, because Orion pestered her to take a photo together during those 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, the two changed 8 poses. 360 degrees without dead angles illuminated them. This extramarital affair was already registered last month for Viola and me. The wedding was 7 days later. Viola looked out the window in panic after reading the message. I hurriedly got up and ran towards me. Orion didn't know why. When she saw her coming out, she turned her head and saw me. A smile flashed across her face, and then she followed Viola out. Are you sure you have to disgust me like this? Viola, I have experienced all kinds of ridicule and tricks in the workplace over the years. I can accept them with a smile and handle them with ease. I think I have a very good temper and good manners. But when I saw my wife and lover wearing couple outfits in front of me, I still spent a lot of effort to hold back the desire to roar. Viola then noticed that Orion came out with her. She turned around and said, Orion, you go first. Orion didn't leave and deliberately angered me. Just now Viola was still talking to me. Don't get me wrong. Mr. Lu and I just happened to meet here. I would rather this was a misunderstanding. But you bastard were fine when you went out. You held a red rose petal in your hand to swear your sovereignty to me. How afraid are you that I can see that you are having an affair? I closed my eyes briefly, not wanting to talk to this kind of mistress who had no moral qualities. I was afraid that it would lower my moral bottom line. I looked at Viola and said, "Give me 1 minute to let this unlucky thing disappear in front of me." Orion continued to say to me in a sarcastic tone, "Quinn, how can you be like this? You have no manners at all. You don't even listen to our explanations, and you just define us randomly." Manners? I laughed in anger. I was really not as good as you, the fish that slipped through the net and hid secretly during the evolution of human beings. I said, "If you have nothing to say, go lick the toilet, don't talk here." Orion's face was greener than my head, and he finally left.